gotta trust, give it time, no matter how long it takes. What is going on, everybody? Welcome to another episode of Junior's World of Soul. I am back with a new video. I am so happy to do this video, man, because I am talking about one of the best groups of all time, and that is the Supremes. And I came up with this video because, you know, I was listening to their music, and I was listening to it for 2 weeks straight, and I was like, yo, I have never done a video on the Supremes. I was like, why not do one? Why not do one on the Supremes and give them that respect that they already deserve? But I figured they are a big part of the reason why I fell in love with soul music, so I figured, why not do a video on them? But before I even get to them, there were other groups, female groups and Motown people. It wasn't just the Supremes. And I felt like before I started the video, why not, you know, pay tribute to the ones that were before them? So we're going to start it like this. And it goes a little something like this. Hey, needle in a haystack, needle in a haystack. Love that record, man. That is actually a classic record, and that is by the Valettes. I like them as a group, man. They was the ones that, you know, they were one of the groups that was definitely before the Supremes kind of got their big start, you know what I'm saying? So had to give respect to the Valettes. I love that song. That is an annual play when I go home, and we always play that on when we get in our buzz and we want to start with our music. So we always do play that. So I had to give respect to them. The next song you guys should definitely know as soon as you hear it, and it goes a little something like this. I had to give it up to the Marvelettes. I had to. You know, this was actually the first big hit after Shop Around for Motown. They were kind of like the female group of Motown that kind of started it off, the Marvelettes. So I had to give respect to them as well, and I think everybody does know that song, so I had to give them a respect. The next one, y'all should know this one as well. This was a big hit, and I had to definitely give them their respect. If I'm going to talk about the Marvelettes and talk about the Valettes, I had to talk about this group, and it goes like this. There be music everywhere. Oh, yes, I had to show love to Martha Reeves and the Vandellas, man. You know, so these three girl groups of Motown I had to give respect to, because before the Supremes, they were banging out hits. But once the Supremes kind of got their start and got that breakthrough hit, it was all over. But like I said, I had to do a little medley before then to give them a little props, you know what I'm saying? So hopefully this video is going to be all about the classics from the Supremes. So hopefully you guys are ready to get, you know, dance a little bit, groove with me a little bit, also have your drink. I wish I would have had a red cup in this one, but it's all good. But hopefully you guys are ready to, you know, get down on some history of the Supremes and jam to a little bit of music. So here we go. Now, I was introduced to the Supremes by my mom. My mom loves Motown. She's a big Motown lover. She loves Motown to death. And my grandparents, they liked Motown, but they wasn't the biggest Motown fans. They were more into the Stax. They were more into the Johnny Taylor and you know, Bobby Womack and Joe Simon, and they were into, you know, things like that. They were into that deeper soul. So, you know, but my grandfather brought a record every day. So, you know, it didn't matter who it was. It was always, he always brought a record home. So I guess my mom adapted to more of the Motown. And don't get me wrong, I like Motown, but I'm into more of the Stax as well. But, you know, it's all good. But, you know, as a kid, I would hear mom just you know, walking around the house, and I would hear her sing Marvin Gaye and Junior Walker and the All-Stars and Martha Reeves and the Vandellas, and I would hear her sing, you know, Mary Wells and of course Marvin Gaye and Tammy Terrell. But it was just like, once the Supremes came on, it was like, it's something that did something to her, and it was just like, wow. And it was so bugged out because every time the Supremes would play, it would always be a double play. It was like they would play Baby Love and then they would play Stop in the Name of Love. It was crazy. Like, that's how I always remember it. But, you know, it really didn't catch me then. It didn't catch me then because my family was so into, my grandfather was so into Sam Cooke and Jackie Wilson and more of that. I got caught on to that fast. But the day I remember when I was introduced to Supremes, and I was about 4 or 5, and me and my family was coming from Coney Island, and we have a lot of family out there, so we was going to visit. And I remember us getting back in my grandfather's van, and my mother was like, I want to hear the Supremes. So you know, my grandparents looked around like, we ain't got no Supremes, and I just remember my mom giving this white tape to my grandma, and my grandma put it in. And this was the first song that played, and this is when my moment started of me getting into the Supremes. And this is the first song that came out of the speakers, and I remember it. And it went a little something like this. And then we placed a kiss upon my face. Then I knew, oh, then I knew that it was not far. And then I hear my mom. This is the first thing. There go that Holland-Dozier-Holland production. And now, mind you, you guys, I don't know who the heck Holland-Dozier-Holland is. So I was just like, whatever. But just to see my mom and looking at her, and the music made her feel good, and she was singing along, and it caught me. I was like, yo, I want to kind of get into them. And mind you, I'm like 4 or 5, and I'm like, this music sound good, because obviously my mom like it is good, you know what I'm saying? So, you know, I just remember that on the way home, and I just remember it didn't take long before my grandparents took it out. I think we listened to like 2 or 3 more songs and they took it out. But that song I will always remember, you know what I'm saying? So it was just like, okay, this is my introduction to them. But so fast forwarding to when we got to South Carolina, and as many of you know, I said it in so many of my videos, my mom went to South Carolina State. She moved to South Carolina in 1990, and she wanted to get her degree. She wanted to better herself, which was a great thing. And, you know, it actually made me the man that I am today because of, you know, her getting her degree. I have mine. So it's a beautiful thing. But I just remember her going to school, and on Fridays and Sundays on campus radio, it was like, you know, the soulful time. So on Friday, I think it was more the Motown, and then on Saturday no, not Saturday, on Sundays, it was more of that, you know, Stax and Volt and things like that. So it was more the deeper soul on Sundays, but on Fridays it was Motown and maybe a little bit of Jackie Wilson, a little bit of James Brown. So, you know, I just remember this one Friday, and it will be a Friday I'll never forget, and this song came on, and I was just like, and it went from there, man. It went like this. Baby, baby, ooh, baby, baby. So I remember that, and I hear my mama, here she go again. Oh, that Holland-Dozier-Holland is, oh my God, that joint is amazing. So then I finally looked at her, y'all, and I was just like, Ma, who is Holland-Dozier-Holland? And she looked at me and was like, Holland-Dozier-Holland is the reason for so many classics. And I'm looking at her like, I'm supposed to know, I don't know. And she like looking at me like, you know who they, you know a lot of these songs that they did. So she was like, you know what, fine, I got something for you. And y'all, I'm actually going to take y'all back to 1992 when my mom kind of gave me that history lesson on the Supremes and kind of, you know, and it started like this. So she said, you know, since you don't know who Holland-Dozier-Holland is, I'm going to give you the songs that you know and you didn't know that it was them. So she started this way. And it went a little like this. It's tearing me apart. Whenever he calls my name, tears all over my face. Woo, love that. And I was like, oh, okay. So I'm like rocking with her a little bit. So she's like, oh no, I ain't done. So she went this way, and I was just like, okay, Mom, she killing it right now. But it goes like this. Can I get a witness? Love is twice as bad. Woo! Yeah, Marvin Gaye. So, you know, I'm grooving on the floor. My little 6-year-old self just grooving all over the floor, trying to rock with Mom a little bit. And then she was like, I got one more for you. And she went this way. And it went like this. To have all your loving. Ooh, yeah. So she was like, that's Holland-Dozier-Holland. So she was like, Holland-Dozier-Holland is Brian and Eddie Holland and Lamont Dozier. So first, that kind of threw me off the break because I was like, Lamont Dozier. And y'all, as much as we know each other, my name is Lamont. But please don't call me Lamont. Please call me JR or call me Junior. Because, you know, Lamont is for the professional. And y'all know on this video, we ain't hardly professional right now. So, yeah. So, Lamont Dozier, that kind of caught me. So, I was like, oh, okay, that's who that is. So, I was like, Ma, they did all those songs. And she was like, yeah. But she said, you know what it was? They're more known for doing more the Supreme song because the Supremes just was kind of like the biggest thing ever. So, you know, they were more known for doing the Supreme songs, but they did a lot of classes for other people. So she was like, okay, so now we're going to start with this lesson so you can know who the Supremes is and what they about and things like that. So she said, I'm going to start you off this way. And I was like, okay. I sit myself down ready for this history lesson, and she played this. And don't you stop. I love doing that. But she was like, you know, the Supremes consisted of Diana Ross, Florence Ballard, and Mary Wilson. And there used to be a fourth girl because they were called the Primettes. And she said, you remember the Temptations, right? And I'm like, yeah. And she was like, well, Paul Williams and Eddie Kendricks used to be the Primes, and they called themselves the Primettes. But I don't know what happened with the girl or whatever, so they went with Diana, Mary, and Florence. And she said, you know, before then, you know, they couldn't get no hits at all. She was just like, you know, they were called the No-Hit Supremes. Everybody tried to write for them. Everybody. You know, in the beginning, Diana was singing a little on lead, but she wasn't the lead singer. And I was like, oh, Diana Ross wasn't the lead singer. And my mom was like, no, it was Florence. But Barry realized that, you know, he was trying to cross over to that, you know, mainstream white America, and Florence's voice wasn't that. So he knew Diana had that. So he was like, you know what? He hooked them up with Holland-Dozier-Holland. And she said, you remember that tape that we played? And it's always the And the first song is when a love light shine through his eyes. And I'm saying, oh yeah, I remember that. And she said, yes, that was kind of like their first breakout hit. And she said after that, then the hits just started coming, and then the magic started happening, and then they started coming after hit after hit after hit. And then she said, then it was like, you know, Where Did Our Love Go? The song that, she was like, you know, the song that you just heard before you asked me these questions, Where Did Our Love Go? I'm like, yeah, that was their first #1. And then it just went from there. And then my mom played this. You wish treat me bad, break my heart and leave me sad. Tell me what did I do wrong to make you stay away so long? 'Cause baby love, my baby love. So, you know, we grooving in the house. We just grooving. I'm like, yeah, that sound good. 'Cause mind y'all, I don't know the words, but my mom's singing along with it. So we rocking it. She was like, okay. Then she goes to this next. And it goes like this. I hope y'all grooving a little bit. I hope you so. Hope so. And it goes like this. Ooh, I thought baby, don't let him go. 'Cause I'm the one who needs some soul and flow. She don't know. 'Cause the boy she loves is a Romeo. And we just rocking, man. I'm like, hey. And my mom like, oh. And she got her drink in her hand. And, you know, for one thing I've learned from my mom in this video and knowing these songs and learning about the Supremes, man, I learned how to not spill my drink. Yes, indeed. And I can be rocking off. Nothing will come out of this cup. Watching Mom, she taught me very well. Don't hate on us because y'all don't know our story. But back to the music. And then she played this one. And then the lesson continued. And it went like this, y'all. About you, babe, come see about me. So she was saying, so she went back to the story, to the history as it was, and she said, you know, those were the first 5. So they had 5 consecutive #1s. They were rivaling the Beatles. And I was like, the Beatles? And she was like, you know, oh, I was like Yesterday and Trouble Seems So Far Away. Like, y'all, I'm young and I know the Beatles. Ain't that crazy? But anyway, she was like, by then they were running Motown. Like, they were it. They were the thing. You know, you could not discuss Motown and not talk about the Supremes. So she said, now after that, it was like, you know, they missed their #1s. But these songs, my mom was like, they were bangers to me too, but they just wasn't #1 songs. But they were produced by Holland-Dozier-Holland, and she was like, these are actually some of my favorites, but they're not #1 songs, but they still bangers. And she started this way with this. I can't break away from this song. Woo! That joint sound funky. This joint could have been a #1 too, though, yo. I don't understand why, but hey, maybe Barry didn't pay a lot of the payola for it. No shade, but shade. But the next one, she said, you know, I actually, you know, the older I got and I started watching live performances, I actually liked them doing this song live, and it was, it's on YouTube, and I'm putting in more info about it. I actually liked the performance, and you can actually hear flows like her harmonies in the background. She had a beautiful voice, but I like this song, and it goes a little something like this. love that. I love that. And like I said, when I put that video in the more info box, man, y'all can see the performance. You can hear Flo's voice, and I love it. But the next song, my mom was like, this is actually one of her favorite songs. And let me tell you something. This song comes on Mom Star Groove, and she goes in on this joint. And, you know, I like when they did this one on the Ed Sullivan Show. I'm going to put that in the more info box, too. And it goes a little something like this. Because, let me tell you, Mary went off on this. Keeps me sighing, keeps me dying, keeps me yearning, keeps me burning, keeps me tossing, keeps me whatever it was. But yeah, so when that joint was coming on, man, we was rocking as usual. I wish, like I said in my past video, I'm gonna say in every video, I wish I can play all these songs and we can groove for the whole time, but I only can give y'all like a little sample because y'all know how stupid, you know, YouTube is with playing the whole song. You gotta give people other money and all that. And look, I'm starting to get paid for some of these videos, so I do not want nobody else in my pockets. YouTube and Google already up in it, so what the heck I need them to be more up in my pockets. But anyway, you know, so Mom goes back to the story and she said, you know, during this time, she said Diana started going with Barry. And I'm like, Mom, who's Barry Gordy? And she was like, well, Barry Gordy is the owner of Motown Records, and he's the guy that's over it, and he owns it in his business. And during this time, he wanted her to go solo, but he didn't want, he waited on it because he already had a plan. He wanted to get her solo because now the Supremes had so many hits. He figured like Diana can go solo and do her, but he said no. But then internal stuff started happening because Flo started, she was very vocal on how she felt, and she started saying what she didn't like. And, you know, she started being, you know, she was just like, how can you be so concerned about Diana? We're part of this group as well, and you're so focused on her because she's our lead singer, and that's not fair. But, you know, as much as the internal problems started happening and Barry and Diana was sleeping with each other, the hits just kept coming. Now, in this medley, these are actually some of my favorites now, and they were #1 records, and I just love the first song. I wish I could play the whole song for y'all, but when Mom played it, we started grooving again, y'all, and I had my little, I think I had Kool-Aid in my cup then. I was only 6 years old, so clearly I only had Kool-Aid. But, and it goes a little something like this. Don't really want me, but you keep me hanging on. Ooh. Love that joint, man. I be rocking, and at the end, man, I love the end of this song. If I could think about it off the top of my head, how it go. Dang, you only break my ain't nothing I can do about it. Whoa, 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 set me free, why don't you? Whoa, 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 get out my life, why don't you, baby? 'Cause you don't really need me, but you keep me hanging on. Ooh, go on, get out of my life, and let me sleep at night, please. Ooh, I love that part when Diana kind of goes off at the end with that long, please. Love that part, man. But the next song is kind of slow, so we was kind of just chilling and nodding back and forth or whatever, but we were still grooving to it, and here is this. Closer to yours, and suddenly, ooh, your lips are touching mine. Ooh, I feel so divine till I leave this past behind. Ooh, love that, man, love that. Now, the next song, me and my mom love to this day. We grew to all the Supremes. But this is one song that I definitely always have to play when we gotta play Motown and stuff like that, and we home just chilling and the music starts. I gotta play this song, and it goes a little something like this. It was do 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 do. Love is here, and oh my darling, now you're gone. You make me love you, you make me love you, oh my darling, now you're gone. Woo! Love that joint, man. So Mama said this is kind of when everything takes a turn. So she said, you know, by this time, Florence is getting sick of it. Flo is getting sick of the BS. She's getting sick of Barry and Diana's foolishness because now them two are together. So, you know, Diana feel like she can do anything she wanted. So Flo was just like, it's not even about me and Mary anymore. So she was a little vocal about it, but what Flo didn't know, on the behind the scenes, he was already getting Cindy Bird song to replace her. And my mom was like, you know, she took off her glasses because my mom wears glasses. And she said, we really don't consider Cindy Bird song a Supreme, really. And I was like, oh, who's Cindy Bird song? So she said, oh, well, Cindy Bird song was with Patti LaBelle. And she's like, you know, the lady that's always kicking off the shoes and wearing the hats. I was like, oh, yeah, her. And I was like, yeah, she be singing. And my mom was like, yeah, her. She had a group. And she explained that to me and all that. And I was like, oh, so she left that group and went to the Supremes. And my mother was like, oh, well, it didn't happen like that. But, you know, it was like she basically just left and they didn't tell, you know, Patty and all that. So I was just like, wow, that's crazy. So, you know, when Flo left, then Barry turned it into Diana Ross and the Supremes. And my mother was like, let me tell you something. I don't say Diana Ross and Supreme. They are the Supremes, and they will always be the Supremes. And I was like, oh, okay. You know, I'm just getting a history lesson. So I'm like, whatever, Mom. Whatever you say is right. So she said by this time, Holland-Dozier-Holland, they are ready to leave because they're not getting their right money. And I was like, well, yeah, they wrote the songs and all that. And my mom was like, right, but Barry wasn't giving them their money, so they was ready to leave too. But they still had a couple of more hits. And these weren't number ones, but they were still, you know, popular for the Supremes. And it goes a little like this. Everywhere to beware of the happening. And the performance that she did on that they did on the Ed Sullivan Show was actually the last performance of with Flo with them as the Supremes. And I'm gonna put that in the more info box too. It's kind of sad, but you know, here's the next one. It goes like this.
After time, I see reflections of you and me, reflections of the way life used to be, reflections of the love you took from me. Oh, I'm on alone now, no one to share me, trapped in a world that has undistorted reality.
Woo! That joint goes in. But the last song of this medley, and it's actually one of my favorites from them, and it wasn't a big hit for, I mean, it was a hit. It reached number 9. That's still good, but it wasn't a number 1 song. But I enjoy it, and I rock to it all the time. So when I have to listen to Supremes, this is a song that I definitely go to. And it goes a little something like this. That's a little, like a little drink in your hand, and you just moving with them. Keep on in and out of love. Love that, man. Love that song. So by this time, Barry is like, it's now time for Diana to go solo, period. And, you know, and then after that, you know, they didn't have like big number ones because they didn't have, the magic wasn't there anymore, because first of all, Holland-Dozier-Holland is gone. So now you got these other people writing for the Supremes and trying to write what Holland-Dozier-Holland did, and it just didn't work. That's just what, it wasn't happening. So finally, you know, Barry got this group and they called themselves the Clan, which was crazy. But they called themselves the Clan, and they wrote, you know, basically the last like hits for the Supremes. But what was so sad about it was that, you know, and my mom said, you know, because she read Mary's book. That's another thing. And my mom said, you know, Mary and Cindy Birdsong didn't even sing on the last of, you know, Diana Ross and the Supreme songs. It was the studio singers, and they didn't, you know, they were lipping it, and that was about it. So, but these are the last kind of two number ones when it was Diana Ross and the Supremes, and it goes a little like this. So we're gonna start with this one.
Never meant to be love child,
Song by
in poverty, love child, woo, always second best, love child, different from the rest. I started school and a whole torn, run down tender slum.
Woo, love that, love that. And then the last one, I'm not really a big fan of the song, but Mom played it and she was like, this was the last big hit for the Diana Ross and the Supremes, and it went like this, and y'all should definitely know it when it comes on. Y'all should really know a lot of these songs for real, because they were big songs, but it went like this.
Someday we'll be together.
So, yeah, so that was kind of like the last hit for, you know, Diana Ross and the Supremes, and then they brought Jean Terrell in, and Jean Terrell took her spot, took Diana's spot, and that was kind of like the end of, like, the long run that the Supremes had, and it was just kind of in once Diana left and went solo and had a big career, and R.I.P. to Florence because she died and wasn't kind of able to get back on her foot, because basically, in my opinion, I feel like, you know, Berry Gordy, and he kind of, like, blackballed her, and the girl couldn't do anything, and it was just like, it sucked, and, you know, it just, you know, the Supremes are the reason a lot of these groups exist. And, you know, Mom was just going in. But she also explained, she was like, now, wait a minute now, before this lesson ends, she's like, now, when the Supremes, when Jean Terrell came in and was the lead singer, they did have hits. They had Floyd Joy, they had Stone Love, they had Up the Ladder to the Roof, their album Right On, and they, you know, they had hits, but it just wasn't the same anymore. You know what I mean? It was like we wanted Mary, Florence, and Diana, and we just didn't have that no more. So, you know, my mom goes on to say, now, these are all groups that you love right now, and mind you, this was 1992, and she's like, all these groups you loving is because of who the Supremes was. And I was like, okay, whatever. So the lesson was like over, right? So then, you know, Mom started playing kind of the current music. And of course, and as soon as this came on, Mom was like, you see, if it wasn't for the Supremes, it wouldn't be no them. And it goes a little something like this. And y'all know I was grooving. This is 1992. So I was moving like because it was hot. It was hot. It was a banger. So it goes a little something like this.
Never ever gonna get it, my love, and no, you're never gonna get it. Have your chance to never change. Ooh, bop.
Then it seemed like they were going in on the radio that day, and I lied to y'all not, and I just remember it going down like this. And they played right after they played that, they played this. And now you know my mom looking at me like, and I'm going off. Hey, it's all down, and you're gonna be around. That's me. And it's been, I'm a little too friendly, so to speak, hypothetically saying. I was going off like, and then my mom looking at me like, yeah, whatever. And then they played this. And actually now when they played this, this group actually became my favorite 90s girl group, period. And they played this, and it went like this. I'll be right here. Had no fear, don't you notice? So I brought y'all to that conversation kind of like the lesson was over, but I just remember that night and getting a good kind of diagnostic of who the Supremes was. And it was so crazy because I was looking at my mom while she was telling me this, and mind you, rocking to the music and all that good stuff, and I was like, yo, she knows this. There was no internet. There was no nothing. It was just like stuff you had to read and reading, you know, people's autobiographies and finding out things. And I was just like, yo, I want to be like that, yo. And then the way my mom did it, it made me, you know, learn the music and actually like it a little bit. So let me tell y'all something. During that time, I used to always say, Ma, I do not want to always hear this music. Can we turn this off? She said, that's fine, because when you get older, you're going to love it. And she's absolutely right. As y'all see, I have my own website. I talk about soul music. And she was absolutely right. She knew what she was talking about. She knew I was going to end up loving it. And she was like, she knew, because I wouldn't be asking all these questions that little to act like I didn't want to know about it or like it. So it was dope. But, you know, like I say now, for these current, generation, what I want y'all to understand is the fact that, you know, these new artists y'all talk about and y'all try to diss the old artists, but y'all need to go back to understand what we have today. Because if there was no Supremes, there would be no Diana Ross. If it would be no Diana Ross, it would be no Destiny Child, would be no Destiny Child, would be no Beyonce. So y'all need to kind of understand where everything originates from. And they did so many movies on the Supremes. Like Sparkle was based on the Supremes. You know, Dreamgirls was based on the Supremes. That's how much of an impact these women have made. And they made big impacts, man. So, you know, I hope y'all enjoyed this video. I hope y'all got the groove a little bit. I wish I could have had a red cup, but y'all know it's a Friday, and there ain't got to be a red cup to be some liquor up in this. But it's all good. But I figured, why not go out with a song that Diana Ross wasn't a part of, but it's the Supremes. And I want to give Jean Terrell a little bit of her respect because, you know, I actually like some of the songs that she did with them. So I'm going to go out with this song right here. And it goes a little something like this. To heaven. Keep rocking to this good music, y'all. Peace.